Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday morning and I'm getting ready for work. Yep, time for another day of work, time for another Vlogmas. Today I just had to look at my watch to make sure it is December 18th. We are going to make our morning tea this morning, and then we are going to get into a small tree that I decorate for you guys. And this one is quite unusual looking, just so you know. I love trying new things. I love trying new colors for Christmas. Just embrace whatever style you have and do whatever you want. Who says there are rules, right? Okay, everybody, let's jump right into this.
It's December again, I can't believe it. Whatever happened to the rest of the year? It went by so fast, I barely did see it. Now I'm calling all angels high, if you are there, help me find.
So I'm on my way to work right now. You can see there's snow all over, but what I wanted to show you guys was this right here. So -4 this morning. That's more like the weather that I'm used to. A lot of times it is actually -20, 30 below. So it's beautiful living up in the mountains between two mountain ranges, but boy, is it cold. All right, on to the next part of Vlogmas. So like I said, I've had requests from everybody to show how I decorate a tree. This is actually the last tree I have to decorate. So this will be 24 trees that I've decorated. I'm so happy that I'm not all big trees. I did run out of certain colors of ornaments because apparently I like certain colors. So this is my black tree. And like I said, I've been wanting a black tree for a long time. I went ahead and put the black star on top. I'm not sure I'm gonna leave it. That came with, I don't know, that's one of my kids' black stars, just so you know, that came with some of their presents. Each of my kids have little mini trees that you've seen around the house because I sold them. And so I got them for them when they were quite young. And then every Christmas, it was an easy thing to do, to buy them some more colors and some more ornaments to go along. And it was a lot easier for Julia because she's a girl, so there was a lot of pink, a lot of purple, stuff like that. I'm not saying that my son doesn't like that, and not saying that a boy can't have a purple tree if he wants, but my son is definitely a little bit more masculine for tree colors. So this is Peyton's tree, or this is the tree that's going into Peyton's room this year. So hopefully when I show it to you guys, when it's in his room, he'll actually have his room clean. 16-year-old boy. So let me tell you guys how I decorate a tree. First of all, I decide what color scheme I want to do. I find it much easier if I know ahead of the game what colors I want to do. You guys will notice that out of the 24 trees, 22 were what my kids call matchy-matchy, right? 22, I'm sitting on the berries and they're moving. 22 of them were color coordinated. And these are my favorite type of trees to decorate. The hardest trees for me to decorate are the ones that you see over my shoulder. And the reason for that is I like everything in a certain place. And so my husband this morning, he actually ran into one of the trees and one of the ornaments fell out, and he's like, oh great, now I'm gonna put it back and it's gonna be in the wrong spot. And you guys already know what he did with the gingerbread. I told you guys about that. So I'm at the end, right? So I don't have a lot of choice, but Peyton actually decided if he was gonna do the black tree, he wanted red and silver. So I gathered a few of the things that I had left for red and silver. Luckily, I did place a Michael's order a couple weeks ago because I knew that I was going to be running out of stuff. And so I've got some silver berries. Part of these silver berries were put on the gingham tree that you guys already saw, the tall gingham tree. And so these are just little shorties. He said these weren't his favorite because they do have a brown stem, but he's a 16-year-old boy. So if he doesn't have to decorate the tree, he's really not going to complain. So I've got some of those. And then the other berries that I got, they have not been used yet. These are the Christmas, it just says Christmas Noel stem. These ones I think were the dark red. And so if you look at these ones, they actually have some darker berries. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me go ahead and bend that to make it a little bit easier. So they actually have some darker colors on them. So I thought it would look nice on a tree like this. But you notice how long the stems are on these. The key with these is you just bend the stems. I don't ever cut the stems off of these unless I'm pulling the berries apart, which happens every now and then. But the ones that I get from Michael's and from Joann's and stuff like that that are a higher quality, I generally don't cut apart. I usually cut apart the ones that I get from the Family Dollar, or if I happen to find some from the Dollar Tree, those are the ones that you'll see me break down. Or if I hate them and they're styrofoam and they're falling apart, then I will make them work. So we've got a few of those. So we've got, I think I generally order, you guys know this, I told you guys this earlier, I order in 5s and 6s. So there are 5 of those. And these silvers, I think I might have got 10 of these because silver is one of my favorite colors to decorate with. So I've got 6 of those and 5 of these. I don't know if we're using these for sure. And then I grabbed some silver ornaments. I grabbed what I had left of some smaller ones. So I've got, what do we have, 7 left of these. I found these 2 that aren't super big because I don't want a great big huge one, because you know I've got silver sitting right here, so I've got more silver. But something like this, I do not like on this small of a tree. Now I messed up that, so I'll have to fix it later. So I grabbed 2 of those, and then I saw I had one of these, and I don't know if I'll use it or not, but I grabbed that. Then for silver, I had a couple shaped like this, and out of one of the mini kits, I had one little sparkly silver left, so I grabbed it. And then I found a few silver snowflakes that are smaller, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you've already seen these snowflakes on other trees, just so you know, because there are more of these. Then luckily, I had quite a few left of more of this burgundy red. So let's see. So I have 3 of the shiny ones, and I have 2 of the glittery ones, and then I have 2 of the matte ones left. And then I had 4 little ones that must have come in a mini tree kit. And I don't know what it is about the mini sparkly ones, but I only have 1 of those. Then I have 3 of these actually, and these are a fun shape. So I have 3 of those that I've set out, and then I have 2 of these little snowflakes. And then of course I've got some hooks, and just so you guys know, just in case you didn't know, you can buy lots of different kinds of hooks, but you can buy a standard hook. I don't know if you guys can see that. Standard size hook. Or you can buy the hooks that are designed for these little trees and for the little ornaments. So they're actually really little. If these don't show up, I'll put a picture there. So I've got both kinds of hooks sitting here. The first thing that I'm going to start with is going to be anything that's bigger. I always start with bigger ornaments first. So I'm going to start with these 2 silvers first. And since they are a bigger ornament, I'm going to go ahead and use a bigger hook. And then from here, it goes just with your taste of style, your sense of style, I guess. And for this, I'm not going to want this hanging this low. Good thing about these hooks is I can go ahead and bend it up a little bit higher. I'm going to try to put these ones in the tree a little bit farther because I don't want them sticking straight out. You know what we forgot, you guys? We forgot the lights. Let me grab a string of lights. Okay, I have a strand of lights. I have 100 mini clear. Typically, I'd probably do a 50 on this, but guess what? This is what I've got left. So we're gonna have a lot of lights. And this is a green tree and it's green lights. It's not gonna be perfect. But you guys, it is what it is. You guys know here on my channel, I keep it real with you. Use what you've got, okay? So let me go ahead and get these undone. I'm gonna get them plugged in and then I'll be right back. Okay, I've just got an extension cord over here. I think you guys can see that. I realized you couldn't see my fresca. Got a fresca sitting right there. I always have a pair of scissors handy because something usually has a tag on it. So I am going to leave, we have got a set of fun lights. I am going to leave a little bit more of a tail just in case my son's plug is quite a ways away from where he wants to plug it because we have so many lights. Okay, here's real life for you. Do you guys see the lights going in and out? There is some sort of wiring issue. See, when I pull on the lights, they go out. When I let them go back, we're gonna attempt this with this strand of lights. I think I have one other strand and that is it that doesn't belong outside. So we're gonna see if I can get the lights on here without them going out. And if not, I will grab another strand. Of course, the only tree I show you guys how to decorate and a brand new set of lights has to not work. They do say you get what you pay for, and these are not really expensive lights, but usually I don't take them out of the box and they're not bad. So a little bit disappointed there. I believe I have one more box and that's it. And if not, we're gonna have to figure something else out. Okay, one more box, same exact lights. Let's keep our fingers crossed that these ones work. This might just be a loose bulb. That might be all it is, but I don't feel like sitting here while I'm trying to film this with you guys looking for a loose bulb. Now, if you do have a strand of lights like that, you buy them, they're brand new. I don't know when I bought them. I could have bought them on clearance 2 years ago after Christmas because that's generally when I buy them. I haven't bought them for the past couple years because I don't live in a town that has a Walmart or anything, and I haven't been there after Christmas. So I do know that Julia this year, I had her pick me up, I think 5 or 6 strands. So I did get a few new ones because every year I have lights that go out, but don't just throw them away. And no, I'm not gonna spend a ton of time going through, but I'm going to try to push on all the bulbs and make sure that they're in. If that is not the problem, it's obviously a wiring issue and there might be something loose. I might ask my husband to look at the plug. He might take a minute or two, but the reason I don't just want you to throw them away is because if you have a lot of strands of lights, take the light bulbs out. Then you've at least got replacement light bulbs for strands that you already have. And so I did that, I think, with 5 or 6 strands this year. So I've got all kinds of white light bulbs. And not every single year, but this year I went on every single strand of my light bulbs and replaced all of the burnt out ones. It does take a long time. You guys know I'm a little Christmas crazy, and I obviously spend a lot of time on my Christmas decor. Let me grab this extension cord again. So let's try this again. We're gonna plug these in. Okay, they're all working. Let's hope they stay that way. One thing I like to do before I start putting the lights on the tree is I like to let them warm up a little bit. So let me go ahead and get this silver bulb off of the tree. And we're gonna let these warm up just a little bit. And I know that sounds crazy, but when the lights themselves warm up, then the wires get a little bit more malleable. And so when you go to put it on the tree, you're not having to pull on them so tight. And you guys saw I did pull a little bit on the other strand, but I did not pull that tight. So black tree, what do you guys think? Yay or nay? Would you ever have a black tree? Oh, while we're waiting for the lights to warm a minute, let me show you what I found at the thrift store. I'll be right back. Okay, I almost put this away, or had my hubby put this away, and it hasn't gotten put away yet. Let me show you. So we have got a feather tree. I saw this at the thrift store. I already had my 24 trees and I went, I don't have a feather tree. I should probably get it. And it was white and it just looked interesting, and it had this little box down here. You can see the box has obviously gotten wet. I mean, it's from the thrift store. Somebody's had it for a number of years, but let me show you guys what it actually is, because I opened the box to look. Somebody has changed this tree from a white Christmas tree into a black Halloween tree. So they spray painted this and they created this base down here with a little bit of orange shred. and they painted the box. Now the white stuff that you see is just styrofoam out of the box. So I went ahead and wrote on here Halloween on 2 places, but if you look at the picture, it shows that the base was white. So somebody did this and created a Halloween tree. And so I thought I was going to get a cool another little Christmas tree, and instead I got a Halloween tree. So I now have 2 black trees, you guys. I just thought that was so cool. And of course my laundry is going off because that's what happens. So that will give our lights a little bit more time to warm up. I'll be right back. So I'm sorry about the laundry in the background that you can hear now, but as I always say, you know, I still have to live my life and do my chores, even if I'm filming YouTube. So we're gonna go ahead and stretch this out. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but much easier to stretch because it has warmed up a little bit. I am going to leave probably a foot of lights not on the tree, and then I'm gonna go ahead and wrap them. Now, normally I don't have a tree that I can move around, right? I'm having to move the lights around. So when I do these type of lights, I leave the 50 together, right? Because it's in 2 bundles of 50. So we're gonna go ahead and put these on there. This is gonna be a lot of lights for the little tree. And depending on where this ends up going, I think I know where Peyton's going to put it. And I'm probably going to convince him to just have some of the lights like on the piece of furniture that he's gonna have it on, because I don't know if I can strand 100 lights onto this tiny little baby tree. I'm so happy. And this was from Michael's, you guys. And this was a black tinsel tree is what it was. And it was 50% off. And of course, it was still a little bit more than you would see like at the Family Dollar or the dollar store trees. And it does seem like it's a really good quality. So I am happy with that, because I know sometimes when I buy trees from those places I just mentioned, they kind of fall apart. And they're not really full. That's like the white tree in my bedroom that I got from the thrift store that was obviously from the Family Dollar. It was very sparse. And I like lots of branches. And of course, when you pay high dollar for trees, that's what you get. And I'm not saying I paid high dollar for this one. I think it was $12.99 on sale. I think these ones are normally $25. I don't think I would pay $25. I was okay paying $12, especially since it was a black tree. And I wanted a black tree. So let's get these lights on.
The snow is falling down. I've been longing for this Christmas, when everyone's around to share this holiday. Yes, it's a time of happy.
So I went ahead and left just a little bit. So I think we're probably just going to have to put some snow at the bottom of this tree. So I'm going to put this into the snow. So that's another good thing. Now that I've got the lights on there, I need to actually go ahead and move the branches around, move the lights around so that they're not sitting in weird, funny ways. So this tree probably has, I'm just guessing, probably has 75 lights on it or so because of the 2 strands that we've got. Now, remember, I can continue to mess with the lights as I put my decorations on. So we are going to leave that like that. And like I told you guys before, I'm going to start with these silver lights. I can't believe I almost forgot to put lights on. So funny. It's amazing when you think about filming and recording how much your brain is worried about that and not about the basics. Like, hey, lady, we need lights on that tree. So I'm going to put one on this side, and I put it right here on the tree. So I'm either going to put this one up here, or I'm going to put this one down here, because I do not want them side by side. That is one of the things that, for me, makes my eyes go crossed. So we've got those 2 larger ones on there, and then we've got these 2 that are a little bit larger. So we're going to go ahead and do those as well. And now we're going to move these around. So we've got 2 bigger on this side. Now we're going to do 2 bigger on these 2 sides. And we're going to make sure that they are not lined up with each other again. So I'm going to put this one down lower. And again, I'm going to bend that hook a little bit more because I don't want it hanging that low from my branch. One other larger. And I've got this one silver that I told you guys that I might use that's longer, and I'm just looking at it and I'm just not quite sure. So I'm not going to place it right now. I am going to wait. So we've got one here, one here. So I don't want to put one here because this one's here. I don't want to put one up here because that one's there. So that leaves me to putting it a little bit lower than this one. I don't want it hanging really low because that's going to be full of snow. So the good thing about when you're decorating a fake tree is you can manipulate the branches. And that's another thing. Decorating a real tree is a whole nother ballgame. So now I'm going to go ahead and do some regular silver. How many of you guys have a regular tree at home? Let me reword that or rephrase that. How many of you guys have a real tree at home? I haven't had a real tree in years and years and years. I remember growing up having a real tree every now and then, but my mom hated the mess that they made. And when I was growing up, we only had one tree, just so you guys know. We did not have matchy trees or anything like that. So this is not something that was passed on or anything like that. But I do love having multiple trees and matchy trees. Sometimes I do so many videos, I can't remember, you guys, what I've told you and what I haven't. So let me tell you how the trees started out. My very first Christmas tree that I had when I moved out of my parents' house, my mom had purchased me a whole bunch of Precious Moments ornaments. And so my first tree, when I moved out of the house, it was a smaller tree. And I had Precious Moments ornaments, and I had white bulbs and pink bulbs. So my first tree that I ever did by myself was pink and white. And so yes, I started the matchy right away as soon as I moved out of my parents' home. And I did move out of my parents' home right as soon as I graduated high school. And I was actually 17 when I graduated. So at 17, that was my tree. And I still had some sentimental ornaments and stuff, so I would still put those on there. I wasn't, I didn't have two trees, so it's not like I could not put them on there, but I still thought it looked pretty good. Then when my children came along, I started two trees. I started one for the children to decorate or help decorate, and one for me. So they always called it Mom's Matchy Tree. And they weren't allowed to help decorate it, and they were okay with that, I think. Julia, as she got older, would help me place stuff, and I would tell her where to place them and stuff like that. Peyton never really had an interest, and so we would have Mom's Matchy Tree, and their tree would have all the homemade ornaments and wouldn't match and would have ornaments all over the place, and that was absolutely fine because that's what that tree was supposed to be. So ever since then, the Sentimental tree, the one that in the dining room, was the kids' tree, and so they would decorate it. Then as my children got older, they started showing less interest in decorating Christmas trees, especially Peyton. Julia showed interest, but she didn't live here. So it was, one of those things that if she wanted to do it, I would let her. She did a matchy tree last year. And the year before, she did a cute one that had an elf topper on it. So it had an elf hat and elf legs coming out of the side of it. It was a lot of fun. But most part, it's now me that decorates. Julia did buy another tree for her dorm, and I think I mentioned that to you guys. That's why I have a mini gnome ornament tree, because she found that and had a gnome one herself. And I'm like, Julia can't have a gnome tree if I don't have one. So now I'm placing some snowflakes. You notice that I am placing all of the silver at the same time. So everything that I'm putting on that's silver, except for this ornament because I don't know about it, is going on at the same time. And for me, this is visually easier because I can spread the silver out and, sorry, I don't like these lights right here. I can spread the silver out amongst the tree, and then we will come back in with the red. And in the long run, that will make it easier to put the red on here as well, because then the silver is already spaced out and there are gaps for the red naturally. So we've got one more silver snowflake to put on. And when you decorate your tree, I know you guys have heard this before, you always want to decorate the front and the back. And like I said, this is a little bit easier than normal because I'm moving the tree around, and with smaller ones it is. Now on the big trees that I do for the back, They still have lots of ornaments on the back of them because you can see through the tree, but I'm not sure if I have ornaments placed next to them. If I can't see it, it doesn't exist, right? So it's okay. So we've got our silver ornaments on there. Now we're going to start with some of our red. And this is more of a burgundy than a typical Christmas red. So we're going to start out, I like these little ones to go up towards the top of the tree because they are so little. So I actually put the little silver one right there, and I'm putting the little red one right back here. And let's see, what should we start? It does not matter what order you put these on or anything. Some of these have paper clips on them. There was one year where we couldn't find the little ornament hooks, so we bought some paper clips and just unhooked them. Works absolutely perfect. And I could change these over to the clips since I have them, but quite honestly, the paper clips work just fine. And unless you're looking right at the tree and right at the hooks, you're not even gonna notice it. So I'm just gonna spread these ornaments around. So I've got 4 of these. So I'm gonna try to spread them around evenly around the tree as best I can. I just don't want all 4 of the same ornament on the same side of the tree or in the same areas. We'll put that one there. And when I put that one there, I saw that there was a cluster of branches. So we're going to scooch those around. And of course, when you decorate a tree, one thing I didn't show you guys was that I took the time to fluff the tree. For larger trees, I actually like to fluff one section at a time. And if I have to string lights onto the tree, I fluff one section, put lights on it, fluff another section, put lights. I just think it's so much easier. Then we've got these fun shaped ones. They remind me of an onion. I don't know what shape this is. Does anybody know what you call this shape of a bulb? If you do, let me know down below because I am always interested in learning new stuff. So we're going to manipulate this branch a little bit because we want it to be in that gap right there. We're going to go ahead and put these 3 on here. This is why we like plastic ornaments, everyone. Even if you don't have children, the ornaments get dropped. I don't know how I dropped that one, but I managed to. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one back here. I have one up here, one down here. You can't see my hand, but it's down here. Let me move this. Sorry, you guys, I didn't think about that. So I have one here and one here so far. I'm probably going to put one somewhere over in this area if I can find a space for it. So I'm going to put this one right here. I know I'm going to have to manipulate some branches. And sometimes when you start decorating, you have to move the original ornaments that you put on, and that's okay. Just because it's on the tree doesn't mean it always has to be on there. This already has a big hook, so I'm going to leave the big hook on there. And I have 2 of these ornaments, so let's put them on the tree. And since that one is hanging a little bit lower, we're going to go ahead and use a big hook for this one as well, just to give it some balance. It's nice to have some ornaments that are close to the branch and some that hang a little bit lower. We're getting there, you guys. The funny thing is, of course, even though I'm chatting with you guys for this, I'm not really going any slower. This is how long it would take me to decorate this little tree, whether you guys were here or not, just because I have to look at the tree several times to decide how I want it to be. So we've got 2 of the sparkly ones. So we put one down there, and I think I'm going to go ahead and put one up here because there's a hole there. Then we've got 2 of these that have matte coloring. So we're going to go ahead and put one right there. I'm going to manipulate that down a little bit lower. I don't know if you guys saw why I did that, but this ornament and this one were lined up exactly even. Makes my eyes go crossed. And I'm sure some of you guys are listening to this and watching this and going, that's way too hard. I just throw the ornaments on there. And that's okay too. I mean, we each have our own way of doing things. And of course, there's some of you guys that are probably watching this going, you're doing that wrong. And I understand that too. We all have our own ways that we like to do things, that we were taught to do things. And of course, like I said, for Christmas decorating, I was not taught really how to do much. It's kind of like cooking. Growing up, my mom didn't like to cook. I liked to cook from a very young age. So the first time that I cooked Thanksgiving dinner by myself was when I was 12. Now, of course, my mom was there and she was there to answer any questions if I had any questions or anything like that. But I actually ended up doing it all by myself. Okay, now, sometimes it's hard. You start looking and your tree starts filling in and you start going, where am I going to put that ornament? Sometimes you might have too many ornaments. Don't shove them all in there if you don't have room. I didn't have a lot on this tree. I'm not going to use this ornament. I'm going to put this ornament right here in this vase that I have sitting on my table. And now we've got to decide berries. I definitely think it needs berries. And berries are another thing that you want to make sure that they're offset. I love my trees packed full of stuff. I also love stuff coming out of them. So the silver to me looks very, very good. Now let's take one of the red ones. Of course, we have to cut off the tag. And I got these on sale, you guys. These were normally $1.99 a piece, and I believe I got them for 99 cents a piece. So for this, since we're going into such a small tree, I am going to bend this all down so you guys can see there. And I started bending it as short as I could because these are going to be pretty long. Because these are going to be so long in this tree, I'm going to put them down lower. And when I put them in, I'm going to put them in at an angle like this. If I put them like this, they'll stick out way too far. There we go. I like that red in there quite a bit. So we're going to do, I don't know how many we're going to be able to do. We're just going to have to see. For sure 2, maybe 3. Because we've got the silver, and the silver's not quite as big, which is nice. Because if it was, I think it would be too much. And some of you guys are probably looking going, Marlene, that's already too much. But if you guys haven't learned anything from my channel, I don't do anything half, you know what. So we're gonna put this red one here. Maybe, if it will let us. There we go. And that's actually a better spot for it. I was going to say I put the red one here, but it was lined up with this silver, and I was not liking that. So now they're not actually lined up. Let's go ahead and grab another silver and put it in. The short ones can go up towards the top because they don't have all of that extra. So I am going to put a silver there. So far we have a silver, silver, red, red. We need a silver over here. So we're going to put one a little bit lower. And just kind of move it around until you like it. I don't know if Peyton's going to like all the berries, honestly. The berries make the tree a little bit girly. We'll see what he says. He might not say anything. Like I said, he's pretty good. If he didn't have to decorate it, you know, even if it's in his room, he definitely enjoys Christmas and I think likes Christmas decorations. So I don't think he'll mind quite as much. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 silver. We've got one more if we need it, but I don't know if we're going to need it. I'm thinking one more red, but I've got to figure out where I'm going to put it. So I'm just going to take a step back and I'm going to look at the tree and I'm going to see where I think it will go in the best. One thing I can see is, of course, this berry is going this way. And let me turn the tree so you guys can see. And this one is sticking out a little bit. I don't like that. I want my berries to be at somewhat the same angle. And again, this is where you get into stuff and what your taste is, how you want it to be. I'm trying to find a little area in here between the lights and the branches that I can get those berries in where they're going to stay. That's the harder thing with a smaller tree. You don't have the inside of the tree to hold it. And I already like that better, but I'm not sure if it's going to stay. I'm going to move this branch, and if I have to, I can kind of use this branch to hold that there. That looks better to me, except for we have 2 that are lined up now. right? They're almost perfectly lined. Can you guys see that? Not digging that. So now I'm going to take this one and I'm just going to move it up just a little bit. Happier with that. Now this one I am going to have come out of the front, but I don't know how, because it's so big and I don't want to break these berries down. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to fold these bottom 2 sets down. If I can find a good enough little hole, that will mean less berries are popping out, but we might not be able to get this one in the way I want. So we might be doing an even number, which is unusual for me. It's almost always an odd number that I put into the trees. So let's take a look and see. And of course, with all those berries down there, just not quite sure that we've got enough to cover up that we are hiding some of those berries. Let me take a look. I don't mind it. You can see the berries, but this is the front of the tree. Now, what if we changed our mind and said, you know, this is a little tree, so we can determine whatever we want to be the front. And if this was the back and it had it sticking up, then you wouldn't even know those berries are there. Let me look. So you can see the red popping up behind the black star. So it gives you that splash. And you've got 3. So you've got this one, this one, this one. We've got 4 silvers. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go ahead and put one more silver in. We're going to put it right down here. There's a... This is how I decorate, you guys. I moan at myself. I make noises at myself. We're going to put it right there. I don't know if I like it there because it's right next to the other one, but I felt like we needed some more. I also want this one more flat, so I'm going to move it over a little like that. So that is going to be our tree tutorial for today. Let me know what you guys think. The red berries are a bit much. I like them, but it's because I like a lot. If Peyton doesn't like the red berries, super easy to take out. And you guys will just have to see when it's in his room what he decided to keep and if he decided to get rid of anything. All right, everybody, I have no idea what else is going on for Vlogmas, but I know that you're going to get to see the tree in his room. So for right now, I will say goodbye, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye. All right, everybody, this is tree number 18. And let's go ahead and show you what it looks like in the space where it's at. This is the tree, obviously, that you just watched me decorate. And this is Peyton's room right here. I promised him I would not show you a bunch of his room because it is a disaster right now. So I helped him. We cleared off an area for the tree. But this is what it looks like. This is why we went with the black tree, the red and silver, is because I painted this pattern on his wall where his big TV is. And then I'll just go across the ceiling line. He's not going to care about that. And we've got some red over in here. We've got the black curtains. And I redid his bed frame. That is this gray color here. So that is the tree of the day. It fits perfectly in here. I did ask him what he thought about the red berries, if it was too much for him, and he said it was just fine. Let me turn the light off. And he had this cute little bird right here that we had gotten from Mexico, so we put the little bird by it. And so this is in Peyton's bedroom. Probably one of the few shots you guys will ever get to see in his room because I do respect his privacy. So that is where we're at. You can see we did go ahead and use some of the buffalo snow here for his tree skirt. And you can see that the extra tree lights are down under there. I want to thank you guys all for joining me today for this Decorate a Christmas Tree video, as well as everything else for Vlogmas. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And as always, remember to keep on smiling. Bye, everybody.
go outside.